So again, if you're here, chances are you're like me, where you were 100% sold on the Western medical system is the best system. They know more than me. They know better than me. And as you get older, health issues are just the norm. Being on 10 prescription medications is just the norm. I no longer believe that at all, not even a little bit. I believe everything can be healed naturally with food, with energy work, with exercise, with lymphatic massage, you name it, with Ayurvedic medicine, with acupuncture, whatever you are led to, everything can be healed. Welcome to Embodying You, a podcast of spiritual exploration where nothing is off limits. You'll hear raw, behind the scenes stories from people awakening to their soul's path and how they became the healers, mystics, and intuitives they are today. You'll also experience real-time intuitive sessions and healings where struggles transform into breakthroughs that you can bring into your own life. Along the way, you just might recognize yourself in the stories shared. This is Embodying You. Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of Embodying You. I'm Tiffany Hart, the host. Today, we're going to talk about miraculous cures. Miraculous cures. Throughout my life, I have heard so many stories of miraculous cures. And like many of you, especially if you're here in America, there are a lot of things that are really great about America. Our healthcare system is not one of those things, not for chronic issues. If someone's in a car accident or something like that, right, breaks a bone or something like that, amazing. But for chronic issues, no. And I grew up thoroughly believing that doctors knew better than me about my own body, that they somehow had this superhuman superpower to know better than me what my body needed. In fact, at one point when I was younger, I wanted to be a doctor. And this was a little bit older in life. This was not younger. In fact, I think I was in community college and I was getting my associates in, well, I'm not sure if it was in biology or what it was, but I remember my mom actually bought me an ornament of a little snowman doctor in support of this thing that I had said, this is what I want to do. Well, then I realized that I didn't want to do that. And then I thought I wanted to be a sonographer doing ultrasounds. But before that, I wasn't completely sure. I just knew I've always been fascinated with the body. And so I did shadow someone who did sonography. I shadowed her for probably 6 months, just seeing, do I like this? I was fascinated by it. Couldn't get into the program to save my life. I mean, it was so interesting. I could not get into the program. I did, however, get into the nutrition program at this school. It's OU Health Science Center, for those of you who know this area here in Oklahoma. And so, but I also shadowed someone in radiology. I thought that maybe I might want to be a radiologist. And that's basically what I used to watch them do whenever I shadowed them a few times. Is someone had cancer, they would overlay this mesh device over them and then do the radiation therapy. So I saw this in action, but I knew that wasn't for me. So I did this through many different programs, all in the medical field. I really thought I was going to work in the medical field. And so it's kind of funny to come full circle to where I am now as an energy healer. I am not yet accepted by mainstream society as someone that is a healer who can heal the body, but I've witnessed it time and time again. There was a man who was about to have his third knee surgery. In fact, his review, I believe, is on my website. Anyway, but he was about to have his third knee surgery. And one of the issues was that he had a hairline fracture that wasn't healing. But then the other thing was there was an area behind his kneecap that wasn't healing. It was infected or something. I really cannot remember the exact scenario, except the way they phrased it is we've got to clean up the area behind your kneecap. Well, here's the thing. They'd already done this. They'd already done these things. And at that point, this is a family member. So I said, okay, can I work on this? Can I work on this? Just let's see. Let's see. And so for about 2 weeks, I worked on him. Well, guess what? He goes in for his appointment. They do the scans. The hairline fracture, completely healed. The area behind his knee, clear. 90% clear. 90% clear. So that wasn't my first time of seeing an example of a miraculous cure, but it was the first time that I had played a part in it. But years ago, I would have been in my mid-20s. I remember going on a pond tour. So what this was, it was people had opened up their backyards or their front yards, but they had opened up their homes for people to come and see these ponds that they have created, like a koi pond, a fish pond, and also beautiful gardens. Oh, beautiful gardens. And I had so much fun going with my partner at that time to these different homes and dreaming about the day that maybe I would have a koi pond in my backyard and a magnificent garden. And I still would like to have this one day, by the way. On this pond tour, we met this older couple, really caught on well with them. So much so that we had talked about getting back together with them to hang out sometime. We never did, but we got their phone number and all that good stuff, okay? The man told us that he had had prostate cancer and that he told the doctors, give me 3 months and let me see what I can do. I wish I had the name of this book, you guys, but what he tells us is that he found a book and it talked about imbalances with different metals in your body. He followed what the book told him to do, and in 3 months, his cancer was gone. This is nowhere near the only story like this that I have heard. The question that wants to be said right now is who benefits from us not having access to easy cures for the body? And I don't mean the doctors, the nurses, the technicians, things like that, because they're trained. Well, just look at who trains them, okay? So because I too was so thoroughly programmed in this way to believe that Western medicine has all the answers, that anything else is scary and not to be trusted, it's really taken me a while to get to where I am, where I do fully believe that anything can be healed naturally. I fully believe that anything with the body is trapped emotions, trapped trauma, and that is our body talking to us, telling us, hey, something's wrong here. Not that the body is so stupid that it doesn't know what to do. This is one of the most advanced biological technologies on the planet, but yet somehow it doesn't know what it's doing. And so what it is we've just lost connection with our body. We've lost connection with what our body is telling us, and we have lost connection. By the way, very purposely, we have been disconnected from the intelligence of our bodies. There's something called Ho'oponopono. I'm not sure if you've heard of this before, but it has its what wants to be said. The phrase is, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And the seed of it is in the fact that we are all one. We are all one. We are all a piece of God. We are all one consciousness. And so if we witness something in someone else, we have somehow created it, not in a blame kind of way, but in a, oh, I needed to see it outside of myself in order to understand. And outside of ourselves could be on our body too, even though one might say, but it's not outside of me, it's on my body. But like, kind of like with my cheeks right now, I am seeing something. I have to see this in order to understand there's something trapped in my body, in my energy that needs to be looked at. And when I look at it and I clear whatever the mind is trying to tell me, I would say whatever the subconscious mind is trying to tell me, it will go away. And even for those of you in the video, I deleted all the pictures of it at one point when I was working with someone who was like, just delete all pictures. I mean, I didn't work with them for a long time, but we were just here and there kind of working on it together. And I was told to delete all pictures. And so I did. And now I kind of wish that I hadn't, but it's all perfect. But because I would love for you all to see just how bad it is. I mean, or how bad it was, because it is night and day difference now. I mean, my right cheek used to look like I had been burned with a curling iron, and it was in this V shape. And the funny thing is, and I've talked about this before, I don't know if I've talked about it on the podcast, but with my cheeks, what I have witnessed happen over time is whatever someone tells me they think it is, it would morph into that. So isn't that kind of cool? Because if you learn about something like German New Medicine, there are a lot of places that talk about the health like this, but in German New Medicine specifically, they talk about how, well, Danny Carroll talks about how it's a script written in the brain, almost like a script from a doctor, right? Like there is a script in the brain. And he even talks about how if you can find the correct script to read out loud, the correct script to your body, that it will instantly clear. And he has seen this happen in many different ways. He's got a lot of case studies, a lot of clients that have backed up his work, and his unique way of using German New Medicine. And by the way, German New Medicine has also been backed up by things like CT scans that show these halos in the brain. And the point of the halo in the brain, the part of the body it's associated with, will be having the issue. And so it's like there has been this even scientific proof of conflicts in the brain from the past that then carry forward to conflicts with the body. But when you clear up the conflict, whatever's happening with the body goes away. And this is anything and everything. Autoimmune disorders. I mean, anything and everything. I had a test once where I tested positive for either rheumatoid arthritis or lupus. And rather than keeping on going with that and being like, oh, I wonder which one it is, let me do some more tests, I stopped. I said, oh no, nope, I'm not buying into this. Nope. And so I did the work to clear it up. And so now, even with my cheeks, I would say I've had miraculous cure after miraculous cure, honestly, with my cheeks. But before I talk about that a little bit, I want to go back to what I said about how it would morph. It was when I was on retreat several years ago that I was just starting to break out. And that's when a woman told me that she thought, I forget what it was, but it was some line on the face. It was an acupuncture point. And I apologize that I don't remember what it is right now. I didn't come on here, honestly thought I was not going to talk about my skin. So, here I am. But whatever acupuncture line or whatever meridian, that's the word, whatever meridian goes down the cheekbone and then V's backwards, that's what she told me. She goes, oh my gosh, it's this. And then guess what happened? After that, boom, flared up in a perfect sideways V on my cheek. I mean, it was insane. It look like I'd been burned by a curling iron up top and down low. It was absolutely crazy. And then, I've been working on it. And then at some point, someone said, you know what? I wonder if it's a form of herpes. And here's the thing, I have gotten fever blisters, and fever blisters are a form of herpes. And then there's something called shingles, and shingles is herpes zoster. And so she was saying, I wonder if it's that, because I was also having an issue with one of my eyes. And the minute that she said that, I started getting blisters on my cheek. And even the inside of my right eye started getting a blister on the inside. And the thing is, German New Medicine talks about, for instance, with zits, let's just choose zit, like a regular zit. When it pusses up, that is actually the healing phase. That's actually the healing phase. It's showing you that you resolved something, and then the zit pops up as it exits the body, right? So even the blister was part of the healing phase. But oh my gosh, I'm not super well versed in German new medicine. I mean, I've done some research in it, but I'm not here to talk about that in any depth. I'm just letting you know that as things would come up, my skin would switch to what my brain now believed. To what my brain now believed. And I do want to say too that I did go to a dermatologist at one point. I said, okay, let me just see. Let me just see. So I went to a dermatologist at one point, and they said, I don't know what this is. If it was like this, I would think it was this. Or if it was like this, I would think it was this, but I don't know. And so they basically said, I can give you antibiotics just to see if it'll work. I can also, like, they called it a skin punch, basically make a hole in my skin, which would then cause a scar. And that can cause its own issues when we mess with the skin. The skin, like, our bodies are trying to talk to us or trying to tell us things. And so something told me, do not puncture the skin. Do not puncture the skin, because they were going to send it off for testing to see what it is. I did take the antibiotics for a little bit. No improvement whatsoever. And I have to say, I'm someone, again, I have been through it with things in the medical community in a lot of ways. And one of them is antibiotic usage. The over usage. I'm not saying antibiotics don't have their place, because I can tell you right now, when my son had this one earache, that was awful. It was antibiotics that cleared it up, like stopped the pain and all that within an hour. And I'm also not someone who, for instance, my daughter, from the very beginning of her life, when she would have an ear infection, I would use this mixture of essential oils. Back then, I think it was called Ear Ease. I'm not sure if it's still called that now, but it was a blend of essential oils. It worked like a fucking charm every single time. And anytime her ear hurts, even if I don't put it in sometimes, I'll put it out here and it works. There was also, I'm telling you all, there was also a time where I was on my 40th birthday trip. It was in the very beginning of the trip, and I felt a fever blister start to pop up. But luckily, I had brought my doTERRA essential oil mixture that I made of different essential oils that I started putting it in capsules and taking it right away. It never came up. And you guys, that has never happened to me. Even when I would use Lysine or take a bunch of vitamin C or use Abreva, any of the ways that I had been told to work on it, it had never worked. But yet here's that. And then my best friend, who used to have shingles all the time, if she could catch it from the very beginning and she could start that mixture, it either wouldn't come up or it would be greatly reduced. Essential oils. How many of you have been taught to fear essential oils? I remember when the news put out a story. This would have been, I was living in Midwest cities. So this would have been, I don't know, oh my gosh, maybe 10 years ago. I really don't remember, but the news put out a story about a family who had chosen to try to heal their child naturally with essential oils, and the child died. And now, they're facing a potential lawsuit. Again, who runs the news? Who pays, like, you guys, there are certain systems that are very corrupt. If you're listening to this, you already know that. You already know that. And so again, who is benefiting from the news pumping us full of information about medicines and ads on television too? Oh my gosh, if you look, I used to buy into this. I actually used to, because of different ads and things like that. I actually felt like it was a rite of passage when I got my first prescription that I thought was a permanent prescription. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh yeah. I was 16 years old. I was 16 years old. And I felt so proud that I could join the people who were taking prescriptions all the time. And this is not a slam on anyone who was taking prescriptions all the time. Let me just say that. Let me be very clear about that. I'm not saying that there aren't times where someone needs a prescription. Hey, I knew a woman who had to have a lung transplant, right? Definitely, whatever medications you need to be on to make sure your body doesn't reject that. Yes, please. And also, my boyfriend had a near death experience. And so he, because he doesn't want that to ever happen again, he chooses to take a medication. Okay. So I am not saying that there aren't times for medication, but what I'm saying is we definitely, through television programming, have been programmed very purposely through advertising that is very much meant to sway us. They do study after study after study of how to sway us into believing that whatever they want us to believe is good for us is good for us. Okay. I'm just like, I generally had no idea. I genuinely, I mean, had no idea I would be talking about this. But I tell you what, this is my truth. This is my truth. So let's talk about when I was 16. You guys, I literally thought I was going to be talking about my cat today. I thought I was going to be talking about my cat because something kind of crazy happened. And maybe he's here now for those in the video. Oh, yawn, big yawn. So getting back to when I was 16, I genuinely cannot remember what I went to the doctor for. I don't even remember my parents being there. I am almost certain that my parents were not there. But the thing is, there was so much trust in the doctors that was okay for me to go at age 16 and not have a parent with me. Okay. So I go, I tell them whatever is going on. And she gives me a prescription. So again, I leave and I'm like, oh yeah. I mean, I remember this feeling. I have fucking arrived. Cool. Then I don't know how long it took, a week or 2 or 3, but my stomach started hurting. And when I went back and I said, hey, my stomach's hurting, she gave me another prescription. And again, I cannot remember what I asked when I'm 44 now. I was 16, but I remember very vividly that I left there very much with the impression that I was now on a second prescription medication with no end in sight. That's when it hit me. I remember going to my car afterwards, sitting there and going, what the fuck? I'm 16. I'm healthy. 2 prescription medications? And then a thought popped in my head, which I now realize is intuition. Look at the packaging of the first prescription. See if stomach issues are a symptom. So I go home and I look, and sure as shit, stomach issues are a potential symptom of this medication. So I stopped taking it. I never get that prescription filled. I never get that prescription filled. And then I stop the first one. I just tell you some of these stories just so you understand where I'm coming from. Okay, the next one that's coming up. When my son was little, he got strep throat all the time. I wish that I knew then what I know now, but he would get strep throat all the time. So we were at the pediatrician's office all the time. By all the time, I mean probably maybe 3 or 4 times per year, if I remember correctly. It was enough to where he had strep throat so many times that they recommended having his tonsils taken out. And so we made sure, because we were like, he cannot miss this much school when he starts school. So we made sure that we had his tonsils taken out before he started preschool. So that gives you an idea of how often we were in there. So he was put on antibiotics over and over and over and over again. And neither one of us knew any better. I didn't know better. His father didn't know any better. We did know a little bit about vaccines then, so he'd only had a few, but we didn't know about antibiotics. And it wasn't until he was older and he started having gut issues that we realized it and we started to look into it and worked to rebuild his gut, his immune system through his gut. So again, if you're here, chances are you're like me, where you were 100% sold on the Western medical system is the best system. They know more than me. They know better than me. And as you get older, health issues are just the norm. Being on 10 prescription medications is just the norm. I no longer believe that at all, not even a little bit. I believe everything can be healed naturally with food, with energy work, with exercise, with lymphatic massage, you name it, with Ayurvedic medicine, with acupuncture, whatever you are led to, everything can be healed. Let's talk for a minute about why certain things happen. And I'm going to talk about my skin because, well, it's very near and dear to my heart, and it is front and center where every single day I see it. So let's talk about the lessons, the soul lesson of why it's here, what it's meant to show me, and what it's meant to say and show to the people who see me, the clients who work with me. Okay, let's talk about this for just a minute, because anything that you have going on with the body is also a soul lesson for you with an underlying reason as to why it's happening. Sometimes things can be cleared up very quickly. Sometimes it takes a little while. There's a lesson, there's a path you have to go down to get all of the information that the body needs to release everything that needs to be released so that you can move forward more of your true self, like uncovered, unveiled. When we have body issues and we work on the emotional issue rather than covering it up with a Band-Aid, and by Band-Aid, I mean like a medication or just ignoring it and acting like it's not there, which believe me, I tried this a lot with my skin. I was like, it's okay. If I just ignore it, it'll go away. And, maybe one day, but no, that has not been my soul's trajectory with it. So I'm going to give a brief overview of the timeline and the trajectory with what my body is showing me. I don't want to say with my condition or my whatever it's called, with what my body is trying to show me. Okay. What my soul is trying to show me. There's so many facets to this. Oh, I hope I can do it justice. Okay. Now we're tying my cat into it. Okay. Now we're tying my cat. If this is your first episode to listen to, everything that I speak about on here, it's all channeled. It's all I've asked, I've tuned in what needs to be said. And so I am guided the entire way with what parts of the story to tell. Sorry, my hair feels like it's going underneath my armpit. Okay. But I'm guided with every single part of the story to tell, every single part that is important for whoever is listening. And that is always my intention. And so because intention rules everything, if you're here, you're meant for all the parts of it, whether they trigger you or not. And if they trigger you, sit with that. Sit with that. Because if it didn't trigger you, it would mean you were neutral. It would mean that if it didn't trigger you, you would end up feeling a neutral feeling about whatever it is I'm saying. Even if you don't agree, you would just be like, I don't really agree with that. But if you're like, she doesn't know what the fuck she's talking about, it's okay if you think, I don't think she knows what she's talking about. That's different than the one that has the anger behind it, right? So that tells you, oh, okay, I need to look at some anger. Where's the anger? Because then you could come back a year from then, having worked on your anger, I mean, it doesn't take a year, but you get what I'm saying. You could work on your anger, and let's just say a week later, come back and listen and hear it completely differently. Completely differently. Why? Because you've released the emotion that was being brought up. That was being brought up. Okay, so let's go to what wants to be said about the skin story. When I moved into this house in 2022, and it is 2026 now, we are at almost 4 years in this house. So it's April right now. May of 2026 will be 4 years in the house. And so in 2022, when I moved in here, so much happened all at once. So much happened. One of them being me getting COVID. First time for me to ever get COVID. And I was down for the count. I mean, here I was, single woman moving out of the marital home. So I'm newly single, didn't even think I'd be able to buy a house at all, much less be a single woman buying a house. No. Hold on. I said that wrong. When my last husband and I separated, I genuinely thought I would be moving into a 2-bedroom apartment, me and 2 kids. And by the way, the kids, there's a boy and a girl, and they're 6.5 years apart. So that would have meant, probably my littlest, like sharing a bedroom with me, right? Which is fine, but I also like my alone time. So that was what I thought. But instead, I purchased a home as a single woman. And again, I had been programmed, whether inadvertently or on purpose, to believe that as a woman, I could never do something like that by myself. Never, never, never. So when I moved into this house, and I moved in with such ease, it was such an easy time finding this house. I mean, just the story alone of finding this house and being the one to get this house when I was not the highest bid. It was at a time when the housing market was crazy. I had friends who were realtors, and they would talk about how they had people see 25 homes and put in 10 offers and then finally receive it. No, this was the only house I went in. I think it was the third one that I actually drove to, because I was using intuition and I was using my tools. But this was the only house I went inside, the only house I put an offer on. I was not the highest bid, but they came back to me and asked me if I would be willing to go higher, because the owners had their own reasons why they didn't want the 2 others that were higher to get the home. And so they asked if I could go higher, and it wasn't much higher. And I was like, yeah, sure, I can do that. And so I got this home. So there was just so much with the ease at which I manifested it. And I learned how to manifest something like that. Again, the home buying, the story of finding this home really is a really, really good one. If you want to hear about that, please DM me on Instagram or something to let me know. I love it when you all do that, because it gives me something to respond to. Okay. So when I moved in, it was amazing at first. And then all sorts of shit hit the fan. Things were breaking. The movers only moved half of my stuff over rather than moving all of my stuff. They didn't realize my stuff was in 2 different places. And so with the first batch that they brought, almost every single piece of furniture was damaged. Then with the second round they bought, literally, as one of the guys is wheeling in my dresser, the trim on the bottom of my dresser drops to the floor. And so again, it was like I had boxes everywhere. I was by myself. The home when I moved in, it was not well cared for. It was so dirty. And it was like I just couldn't do it all. There were boxes everywhere. My furniture was broken. They also scratched up my refrigerator, and then my $100 trash can. They had scratched up my trash can. I mean, it was a whole thing. And then I got COVID. Are you fucking kidding me? It was like boom, 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 boom. And it wasn't long after that, after I had COVID, that my cat comes in and has this big bump on his back. Yeah. And again, I have been trained from childhood that you go to the doctor if something's wrong with your body. So here's my cat. I'm already starting to think differently. And by this point, actually, it would have been probably in 2023. No, probably end of 2022. Anywho, there's this bump on my cat's back. And I start talking to a new friend, Amy Michelle, and we're talking about this bump. She's an energy healer, has been for a very long time. She's the one who initially taught me how to be an energy healer and helped me up level and upgrade super, super quickly. Those of you who've listened to this podcast, you've heard me talk about Amy Michelle. She is so powerful, so strong, such a powerful energy worker. Okay. Then she helps. So we both together work on Noski, my cat. And within days, it opens up, it drains, everything is perfectly fine, right? Everything is beautiful. It's not too much longer after that I start having skin issues. And if you know about how everything we see is a reflection, there's a definite tie-in between what my cat was trying to show me and also a preview of what was to come of the skin. So it wasn't too long after that I start having skin issues. Here's where I'm going to speed up quite a bit. I'm going to leave some pieces out, but I want you to understand how much I have healed because my body has chosen to express what is happening within through my face. Could have been any part of my body, could have been my stomach that's covered up. It's my face. So one of the first things that wants to come up is this was also around the time that I was starting to want to date. I mean, I was happily single for a very long time as I was healing myself after my last marriage and healing codependency and anxious attachment and just learning so much about all sorts of different things about, again, even within codependency, there are addiction issues and things like that. So I was just learning so much and learning about human design and learning about energy work. And oh my gosh, it was just learning so much about myself. So when these things started, and then especially when I started being ready to date, because for the first time ever in my life, since maybe I was 14 years old, I went years without dating, years without sex. And I didn't even care. I was doing the inner work. And so the very first thing that came up for me in regards to this was, how are people seeing me? And I had this idea in my head that women wouldn't want to be friends with me because I had it. Like they might be embarrassed to be seen with me. I remember also thinking that men wouldn't be interested in dating me. And that couldn't be further from the truth. And I want to say that if there was someone who decided not to date me or be friends with me because I'm not perfect, and especially because of any perceived imperfection about the body, then do I really want to be friends or partners with them anyway? Like, I don't know what to call it, lovers, girlfriends, whatever. But do I actually want that kind of relationship? And the thing is I had actually made the proclamation for this next relationship and also for my friendships for them to be deeper than that. I didn't want surface level friendships and partnerships. I wanted someone who didn't make their life decisions based on what they thought other people thought about them, who didn't base their life decisions on even what their parents might think about them. It's crazy. I just got done reading a book because I've been getting back into reading books for fun. And the book that I just read, it's crazy because the man in the book is 30 something and perfectly reasonable life circumstances happen where he went back to his parents' house for a little bit while he's starting up a new business. But he had all this shame over what his dad, who's very successful and they have a multi-million-dollar home and all that, over what his dad thought about him. And if his dad was going to be judgmental of him or what he was going to say about him. And like, how many times do we do that? Do we as adults make decisions based on what we think our parents are going to think about us? We can be 50 years old still thinking about what do our parents think about us. Think about that. Think about that. So anyway, I've made a proclamation that I'm living life according to intuition, according to what God wants for me. Because to me, that's what intuition is. It's God, the universe speaking to me. And by the way, I used to not be able to say God. So if you also are triggered by the word God, anytime I say it, just put in universe or source or whatever feels good to you. Really and truly, like I said, I did not used to be able to say God. Let me just make that very, very, very clear. Visibility was the first piece. How will I be seen? And so what I did is I went about the work of healing how I felt other people saw me and how I felt other people judged me, knowing that my thoughts of people judging me was actually me judging myself. Was actually me judging myself. That's how it works. That's how it works. Otherwise, the thoughts and the feelings wouldn't even be there. And so let's see what other part wants to be said. Ooh, everything that has been uncovered through energy work, through getting into the Akashic records, through, oh my gosh, so much has been uncovered. I did not realize how much rage and anger I held inside. I was not someone who got angered easily. I was not someone who people that they were friends with me or even in partnership with me would say I was an angry person. Now, in partnership, did I have times where I would get angry and yell or something like that? Yes. I kind of wonder if I would still do that. I don't live with my partner now, but I kind of wonder if I would even do that now because I've healed so much rage and anger. But that's just it. In the beginning of this, when I was doing healing and getting in the Akashic records, everything that came up had to do with abuse of some sort with men and or father figures, both in this lifetime or past lifetimes. Now, in this lifetime, I've never been physically abused. I wouldn't even say that I've been verbally abused, like genuinely, genuinely. But in past lives, I've been shown as I've gone in and have done healing on this, lifetimes where I mean, all sorts of abuse of all kinds. And then also partnerships, husbands, boyfriends, dads in past lives where there was definite abuse of different sorts. So not just physical, of different sorts of abuse. Could have been verbal, could have been sexual, could have been physical. Okay. And then I also had one where it was the first time that it came up and looked like a burn, the first time. And Amy Michelle says, it looks biblical to me. Like something about it looks biblical. She goes, I don't know why that's coming to mind, but something looks biblical. So I have a friend get in the records for me and she goes to 3 past lifetimes, all ties into religion. And I'm not blaming religion here, by the way, but all ties into past religious experiences that were affecting me now and affecting my skin. And so one of them was I was the wife in a very religious household, and my husband was one way at church and then beat me up at home. You know, so there was that. Then there was one where I was a monk, and oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. Like I could feel it. I was a monk. It was the monk in the Himalayas whole look. In fact, I'm seeing myself now, orange robe, just this very, very peaceful man who didn't understand why money was even a thing. Like he was also kind of blocking me from money because he was like, because I'd brought that to this lifetime to heal. But he was kind of like, I don't really understand. But, we did healing in that lifetime and he came to understand, oh, money's actually a good thing in this lifetime. Okay. So anyway, then the other one was one where I was in some sort of a religious cult and we would whip ourselves. And I saw this so clearly. And so I've done healing on that. And those things, if you think about even energetically whipping ourselves, our words hold just as much power as physical action. So what I mean by that is, that old saying of sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Could not be further from the truth. The brain processes hurtful words the same as it does a slap in the face. Physical and verbal are the same to the brain. The brain, the emotional body, processes it the same way. So if you think of how we've been taught to speak so negatively about ourselves, how many times do you look in the mirror and go, damn, you look good? Seriously, how many times? Just the other day, I went to the bathroom, saw myself in the mirror, immediately said something unkind to myself. And for the first time ever, I actually backed up and went back and said about 10 nice things to myself in the mirror to make up for that and hopefully make up for other times that I do that. Because I did that without even thinking about it. Without even thinking about it. Just went into negative thoughts about myself. And my skin is still a part of it. I am still, as I am led to do healing on it, I still am. Okay, so there's part of that. Other things that I've healed, the amount of rage and anger. There's been, we, again, especially as women, have just been taught to pretend like we're not actually angry when we are. And this goes very, very deep. And it can be very, very subtle. But when we've already built up this belief that we can't express our anger, that we need to be little angels, that we need to be quiet, that we need to be seen and not heard. Again, that anger is not okay. And guys, this starts with toddlers. Like, think about if a toddler is throwing a fit and they're told to stop. I wonder how things would be if they could get it out of their body. Like, I wonder how my children's life would be different now if I was me now having, like, bearing children where I knew, no, I need to let them fully express in this tantrum. I need to allow them to get these emotions out of their body. I don't need to have them cry it out, because I did cry it out with both of my kids. And if you do these things, it's kind of like, okay, we only know what we know as we know it. And so it's not about guilting ourselves. It's about, as we know it, doing better going forward. So now my children experience a mother who, when I do ask them to do it with respect, but they will come to me and call me out on something. They will say, hey, you tell me blank, but then you just did this. And sometimes I'm triggered in the moment and I say, okay, I will be back. I'm not able to talk about this right now. This is not about you. Thank you so much for telling me. I'm going to go handle my emotions and then I'll be back and we can talk about it. Oh man. And I remember, okay, here's something that has become a pet peeve. But again, I used to do this until I learned about it and I stopped. So a lot of times we treat children in a way that we would never be okay with someone treating us, that we would get so offended. So I remember one time that I was out and this happened where I heard a kid say something to a parent that the parent had literally just said to them. And maybe it was within like 30 seconds or a minute. And the parent got so offended and got onto the kid for saying to them what they had just said to them. It was like, and something about that hit me. I was like, huh. And so there was one day that, and I don't want to give my daughter's like full name on here or whatever, but there was one day that, so my daughter is one where she will speak her mind. She will speak her mind. She will push back. And I really love that about her. It can be hard for me as a parent, but I don't want to control or suffocate that out of her, because I'm going, oh my gosh, she is going to be such a powerful, powerful leader one day. She's a 5-line in human design. For those of you who know human design, she's a 5-1 projector. And so she's going to be a powerful leader one day. And as much as I can, I don't want to be someone who teaches her that she doesn't need to ask questions or push boundaries or whatever it is. So there was one day where I was upset with her, and I looked at her and I called her by her first and middle name. And she looked at me and she goes, Tiffany Lane, and called me by my first and middle name. Ooh. Okay. For one thing, when she did that, and I mean, immediately I got triggered. And at the same time that I got triggered, because I'd already been so deeply moved by what I had seen and what I had since then witnessed of how parents will do and say things to their kids that they would never be okay in the reverse, right? Like they're like, kids are just people, right? And don't we want them, once they are away from us, whether it's away from us for a few hours or when they're adults, don't we want them to treat other people with respect? Well, we are teaching them how to treat other people by how we treat them. And so when she said that to me, yes, I got triggered. But in that same moment, I said, oh, that's what that feels like. Okay, not going to do that anymore. And I genuinely don't remember what happened after that. I'm pretty sure I might have said, oh, I think I might have apologized to her. Because that's another thing too. How often are we afraid to apologize? And especially to our kids. And I remember when I first started apologizing to my kids. I remember the first time I apologized to my son for me acting out of line. And I was scared. I was afraid that if I apologized, that he would think that he could then do it all the time, or he could use it against me or anything like that. But we've had conversations as he's gotten older when he has realized that it is a special thing, that I will go to him and apologize when I was not who I wanted to be, like apologize like I would a partner or a friend. Because again, aren't my kids the most important people in my life to me? Really and truly they are. If I had to, I would choose them over my boyfriend. Like I would love to not be given that choice, but if I am, my children will always win. It's not about winning or losing, by the way. But aren't they the most important people in my life? Aren't they the people with the closest soul contract, the most meaningful soul contract that I have in this lifetime? I would say yes. And so wouldn't I want to treat them with the same respect that I would want to be treated by anybody? Wouldn't I want to love them in the way that I hope to be loved? And so this is how my mind works. This is how my mind works. But because of all of the healing that I've done to reconcile within me and express and let out the anger and the rage inside of me, I was then able to better hold space for the rage and anger I would see in my children. And then especially with my child who is older, who has had more time with a mother and potentially others in his life that are not okay with anger, that shut people down right away. Like, don't say that. Oh, you better not, right? All those phrases that we're probably all used to, honestly, because it's just so mainstream in our society. All these phrases that we're so used to. I have been able to hold better space for that, because the thing that my son would call me out on was, Mom, you tell me that you want me to express my anger or tell you when I'm frustrated, but when I do, you get on to me. And when he told me that, I said, oh my gosh, you're right. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I will do better. And I don't just say I'll do better and then not. I I will do better. I will keep this in mind next time. And so the skin, the skin, the skin, it's brought me healing in so many ways. In fact, I didn't realize this, but I'm downloading the information that because of that Akashic Record series, that's part of what started healing my relationship with the word God, because I had past life trauma about religion that I'd brought to this lifetime in order to heal. And so it does feel like we're wrapping up the story. I mean, honestly, I genuinely thought I was coming on here to talk about a recent event that happened with my cat. And perhaps the next episode will, no, the next episode will not be about that. Well, anyway. Welcome to the Mind of Tiffany. Welcome to the Mind of Tiffany. This is how I'm being led to wrap this up. I am in the final layers, the final shifts of healing my skin. Because of my skin, I have given more attention and importance to what's happening inside of my body, to how I'm feeding it, whether I'm working out or not, emotions, beliefs. I have cleared so many beliefs that I am not worthy if I don't look perfect. So many beliefs, because potentially you've heard me say this before, but it's not just the skin for me. I also have grown out gray hair. Those of you in the video, you know, my gray hair, she's long now. I went without makeup for probably about a year and a half or so. I now put on mascara and kind of line my eyebrows a little bit, but sometimes I don't even do that. In a society where women say things like, I need to make myself presentable. And what they mean by that is, I need to put on makeup. So there have been a lot of other things that have come up for me really healing in ways that I am not presenting myself authentically. The ways that I am caring how other people see me. Because again, it's just me judging myself. It's just me judging myself. And the cool thing is, when we heal the judgments within ourselves, we start to watch shifts happen in our lives, how other people treat us. We get to watch that shift for the better. And we also get to see the shift in our body. Because again, I've seen a lot of healing through changing the mind. The skin has just been the longest running. And the thing that I only work on when the energy is there to work on it. Because it's all here for a reason. Me being able to tell this story, and even to be able to show up with my clients imperfect, but still able to make a difference in their lives through working with God to help them heal whatever parts of their life they're meant to heal, and to see that I am accepted. Because for the longest time, I thought I cannot be an energy healer until I heal my skin. Clients won't want to work with me until I heal my skin. All these things. And it's not true. I'm seeing my business really start to bloom and expand right now. And guess what? I'm not perfect. And that's also part of what my clients see and hear from me. They hear me in process. They see me in process. They see that I'm okay with being wrong. They see that I struggle with certain things too. You know, they come to me for exactly where I am. And then they expand me with the ways that they are at a different level with whatever it is they have going on in their lives. Like, I have several clients who make way more money than me, significantly more money than me. That is expansive as shit for me. And to see that they also are not perfect, and that some of what they are needing help with is what I have already shifted through in some way, which is why I'm able to help them in the way that I am. We don't need more perfect people in the world. We have had such a paradigm, such a society of trusting that other people know better than we do. Trusting that other people know better than we do. We know what's best for us if we're listening to our intuition, if we're following that when we receive the intuition, if we're following that. And sometimes that intuition might bring us to a medical doctor. Sometimes it might bring us to other avenues. And even within energy work, I will tell people, what do I want to say about this? Actually, it's what does God want me to say about this? Nothing is scarce. Nothing is scarce. So not partners, not friends, not anything, not that we don't hold those things dearly, but they're not scarce. If we lose a friend, if we lose a partner, there's another match for us, probably a better match coming along, especially if you're not growing together, or if your souls are just done. Sometimes your souls are just done with whatever you were meant to bring each other, and they may come back together or they may not. They may not. In regards to scarcity, what I'm talking about right now is even with your mentors or energy healers or Ayurvedic practitioners or chiropractors or anything like that, if you start going to someone that you really like, you also have to make sure that you use intuition to know, do you keep going to them or not? Is this someone that I'm going to stick with for years? Or is this someone that I just need this piece and then I think I'm supposed to move on? And the reason why I say this is because I would not be where I am now in my journey, in my healing, with my learnings, if I hadn't been open to whoever I am called to in that moment, whoever I'm called to in that moment. A quick story that's coming to mind. It's so funny, you guys. I thought this was going to be a 30-minute podcast. I genuinely did. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. I tell you what, my guides know me and they know what all I had to do tonight. And I guarantee you, it's like, yeah, you're just going to be there for 30 minutes. No big. And here I am, a little over an hour. It's okay though. I love spending time with you all. I tune into your energy beforehand. So even though I'm looking at myself talking, I feel the energy of all of you. So I just want to say that I feel the energy of all of you. But the example that wants to be said in regards to nothing is scarce, and also how let's just use energy healers, how each person that you're intuitively led to is going to have a different piece of the puzzle for you, because we all have lived different lives. And so there are going to be certain people that come up to help you with something. And I think what's really being warned about right now is to allow yourself to go where your intuition leads, even if you okay, I'm not sure who this is for. This is for someone that is listening to this, because they're giving me very specific information here. So let me just say it like this. If you have someone that you have been going to, but yet something like you're staying with them because you're like, well, I've been going to them for this and that long, and I, just really feel loyal to them, but yet you're not feeling like something is telling you, I'm done here. Allow it to be done. So the example that's wanting to come in, even though it's not necessarily about energy healers, is I had this friend who, when she needed to talk something out, she is a reflector in human design. What she would do is she knew, if I reach out to this person, I'm going to get this from them. If I reach out to this person, I'm going to get this from them. So she would reach out for advice. But for instance, with me, I'm the cross of contagion, for those of you who know human design. And so I tend to spread whatever I'm excited about. Like, that's actually my aura's purpose, is I light people's fire whenever I'm on fire about whatever it is I'm talking about. So I just help spread whatever I'm excited about. And it's just that's how I work. And so she would say, even if it was something hard, she was like, I would send a message to Tiffany if I wanted to feel encouragement about whatever it was I was going through. So she had different people she would reach out to based on what her intuition told her that she needed. Because if there's one thing about me, there's something about, even when someone's going through a hard time, I can see to the root of it, and I can I can feel what's going to happen afterwards. And so there was a while there where I really got excited when someone would come to me with a hard time, because I'm like, oh my gosh, no, this is gonna this is what it's showing you, and I'm telling you, it's gonna be so beautiful once you get past this. And so we all have a way that our aura works. And so just I'll sum up this whole conversation with saying, allow your intuition to lead. Allow your intuition to lead. If when I had gone to the dermatologist, if I had allowed myself to keep going back and start to do topical creams or different things that were a band-aid for what the inside of my body was trying to show me, I don't know where I'd be right now. I actually have been told several times whenever I've tuned into guidance that, in fact, they've said something like this: if it was not here, it would have already been cancer. And so they said, wouldn't you rather be expressing this than cancer? And so that's something that they had said to me multiple times. And so again, I 100% fully believe that cancer also can be healed naturally. There's story after story after story about this. But the truth is, yeah, I'm working on my belief in miraculous cures, because it is possible. Miracles are also not a scarce thing. There are everyday miracles that happen. Everyday miracles. Whether it's a sign, a number sign, or a synchronicity, or, I mean, miracles can be tiny, tiny little things that let us know that we are in a dance with the universe, that we matter. And so I can feel that one day, soon, I will have my miraculous cure with this. But the thing is, I already have. I'm here with you. I am talking to you. I am someone who once didn't believe I could do this, didn't believe I mattered enough to even talk in a podcast. I mean, how many people have podcasts? But I just held such a deep belief that what I had to say didn't matter, that people didn't want to see me or hear from me or talk to me. Well, I realize you all aren't talking to me, but you know what I mean. So the fact that I'm even here is a testament to how much I have worked on visibility, being seen, and then again, just releasing the anger and frustration from my body, because you know what? It was anger and frustration I was pointing back at myself. So I do look forward to coming on here and telling you all the miraculous cure story of my skin being 100% healed. I know that's coming. I know it's coming. I feel like it's coming in 2026. I'm almost afraid to say that out loud, but I still have more to heal because I still make it mean something to me. But the truth of the matter is that doesn't even have to be all the way healed for it to go away. For what my body has been so lovingly showing me to be healed within my body, within my subconscious mind, to a point where my skin is clear. And I realize that some people might be saying, it's just skin. I have this issue over here, and, might be comparing them. And that's okay. That's okay if you're comparing them. I would just say, just remember that we each have our own specially prescribed trauma or triggers in our lives that are meant to bring us to our own specific soul lessons. So if you do find yourself comparing or being like, well, she doesn't have it as bad as me, or just the opposite of like, well, okay, because again, it really is. It doesn't mean anything about me. And the same thing, if there are any of you out there listening and you have acne or redness or skin issues, it doesn't mean anything about you. It also doesn't mean a damn thing about you, meaning who you are as a person or your value in the world. Any of your potential ailments, or even they keep bringing in weight gain. Weight gain also doesn't mean a damn thing about you. It doesn't. Does it show you something that is underlying the body, the subconscious mind emotionally? It does. It does, because weight gain is protection. It is protection. It is protection. And so thank God for the weight gain, for protecting your body, your organs from what needed protection. And then, just like with my skin, you can start to clear those trapped emotions and traumas and beliefs that are keeping you feeling like you need padding to help protect you. And as you do, it will just fall away. Yeah, they're showing me, it's funny, my guides are showing me money bags dropping. Money bags dropping. I will leave that to you to interpret. Yeah, that's what they're wanting. That's what they're wanting. I'm laughing because guides can be really funny. It's part of what has really allowed me to see that we are meant to have a lot more fun in life, is through seeing how silly guides are. Okay, well, if you are still here with me, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for hanging out with me. I don't know about you, but I love podcasts where they just talk and tell stories. Sometimes I just don't want something that I have to really keep track of and try to remember. I just want stories. And so that is what I have brought you today. If you like this podcast, if it resonated with you, if there's something in here that you want someone else to hear, please share it. That would mean a lot. Also, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And that also helps out the podcast. It helps it get out to more people whenever the different platforms see that people are interacting with it. So I'm on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. So if you are a really big fan of what I'm trying to do here, not what I'm trying to do here, but what I'm being led to do here, isn't that a more empowering way to say it? With what I'm being led to do here, then feel free to go to all three platforms and subscribe and maybe leave a review. And a written review would also mean the world and would be appreciated if you feel the genuine heart-led call to do so. And then if you want to work with me, there are going to be links in the show notes. If you want to have single sessions with me where we dive in deep and clear whatever's coming up for you, whatever's coming up, whether if it's a body ailment or it could be just a goal that you're wanting to achieve in life. Maybe you're wanting a different job or you're wanting more money or anything like that. Everything has an energetic component, every single thing. And so with the deep dive sessions, the single sessions, we can start to really make a difference in those areas. If you want to come out of 3 months together, 3 months of working together with me, clearing a shit ton of energy around whatever it is you're wanting to shift in your life, and have the potential, like my client Mika in the last episode, of feeling like in 3 months, she did 10 years of talk therapy. She says, her own words in the last podcast, I feel like a different person than I was 3 months ago when she started working with me. And she's now working with me for another 3 months. That is how deep we go in our, I'm actually going to be changing it when I have the energy and the time to change it on my website, but I'm going to be changing it to Unveiled. And I'm not going to be calling it a mentorship anymore. Right now it's called Answered Prayer Mentorship. That doesn't resonate with me anymore. Hello, 1-3 manifesting generator over here. For those of you who know human design, but it's going to be called Unveiled, because really that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We are uncovering the pieces of you. Well, actually, we're uncovering you, because what all of us are is we are walking around with other people's blankets over us, other people's ideas, other people's emotions, just other people's shit, and then our own shit. Like, we're just covered up. And the more energy that we clear, the more that we just naturally step into our own power, that we naturally step into our own soul's power, who we really are, who we came here to be. Because I'm telling you right now, you came here to be fully yourself. You did not come here to be like anybody else. You came here with your own special sauce, with your own special magic within you. So even if I don't resonate with you, right? Even if you don't feel the pull to work with me, that's beautiful. It's beautiful. I encourage you to either learn to do energy healing yourself, clear emotions. You can do this with emotion code, body code. That's how I started. I can do an affiliate link here. And so if you do choose to sign up for body code or emotion code, if you use my link, I do get a kickback, and it's kind of nice if you decide to get certified. So if I don't resonate, definitely encourage you to start learning to clear energy. You can actually do it multiple different ways. You can do it through journaling. You can do it through dance. You can do it through breathing into water, releasing into water, whether it's your shower or a faucet or a lake or an ocean or any number of things. There's so many different ways to release energy. But I do encourage you to not only empower yourself to learn how to do it yourself, which is what I do teach my clients to do, but also, well, you'll change so much faster, so much faster. And then if you do resonate with me, message me, ask me any questions that you have, or just fill out the form on my website and let me know if you have any questions. I will, and my clients know this, I will tell you if for some reason we're not meant to work together, or I feel like you're not ready for it or something like that, for whatever the reason is, I will tell you, and I will tell you the reason why. But if you're signing up, more than likely you are ready. And then the last thing I want to make sure that I tell you about, every Friday at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, there is a free community gathering. It is free through all of 2026. There is no catch. There is no emailing you ads or anything like that. What it is simply a space for like-hearted individuals who are of the spiritual woo type of nature to get together and simply to share if they want. So basically, we get together over Zoom, and you can be on camera or not. You can speak or not, but what we do is we get on and we have space to share whatever's coming up for us, whether it's something hard or something that's amazing. It doesn't matter. We get to share, and we share without feedback. So it's a place where people have come and have said something that felt scary, but then it felt really good to them, to not have people asking questions or giving advice. They simply get to say it and know that they're accepted. And you can have one person coming on and crying, and then the next person coming on and saying, oh my gosh, everything is fucking amazing right now. This thing happened to me. We've had so much happen within this group. So if that sounds good to you and you want to come and sit in with us and just feel like you belong, like you have someone to talk to, it's called Soul to Soul Hour. I will also put that link in the show notes, and you can email at gather@soultosoulhour.com, and we will send you the link. So the email is also going to be in the show notes. So if you want the link, again, just email us. At some point, we will have a web page where you can go on and easily just get a link right to your inbox. But right now, that's what we are asking. So thank you so much for being here and for listening all the way to the end. I hope you have a beautiful day or evening, wherever it is that you are. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love you. If this episode spoke to you, please subscribe and leave a review so others can find this show too. Your support helps this community grow and brings more voices into the conversation. Plus, I would love to hear your biggest takeaway. Thank you so much.